All right. I think we're live. Happy New Year, bitches! Welcome to Fantasy Island, my home. It's not Fantasy Island. My kids they went to a trampoline park, so they're probably injured severely or coming home, one or the other. And my wife is probably going to come home soon. So I thought it's 2026. Let's do a live. Let me know how things look and sound. I'm still trying to tweak these microphone settings so they don't sound like ass. Hi, Steve. Happy New Year. Lickrod. And all the people here, man. Oh, yeah, here, let me make this bigger so I can see it better. There we go. Dude, I think that the lighting's kind of crazy. Hold on. Let me just try to make that less. I don't love it. We still have our Christmas tree because we're those people that are too lazy to take it down. It took so much pain and effort to put it up. It's like, I'm going to wait until it becomes a true fire hazard. I mean, maybe too soon because of the Swiss thing, but like that thing, not safe. But they're LEDs, so they shouldn't generate heat, but I don't know, man. And then the cat eats the needles and throws up all over the place. I hate Christmas. I'm not going to lie. It is a time when I'm cleaning up cat vomit and barely avoiding self-immolation. Let's see what we got for the comments. Happy New Year, Kathy. Cynthia, everybody's here for the new year. Alter Bridge fan. Ooh. Dan Riddick says, I bought lights and never put them up because of my laziness, so I completely understand. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We used to have a fake Christmas tree when we were in Las Vegas because it's Las Vegas and everything's fake. And it was actually great. But it started to decrode, to quote Napoleon Dynamite, over some years. And then we went back to live trees. And such a pain in the ass, man. But it's pretty, and the kids really enjoyed it. But the minute those kids are gone, I'm like, no, the Grinch is officially in charge. And the cat's getting exiled to cat Siberia too. I'm going to tell you, because cleaning up vomit, not my thing. But it is my thing. Linda says, Happy New Year all the way from hot Australia. You guys are having summer and you're in some kind of time warp where you have your New Year first? That's not fair. You guys are the worst. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Quirky Dave, hey, I've hated Christmas for over 20 years. And this is what working retail will do to you. Yeah, dude, I feel you. It's all good though. Jesse, is Temu better or Amazon better? Yes. Ashley Stewart, we leave ours up until after January 7th. I don't celebrate Orthodox Christmas, but it's nice to have the extra fun lights for longer. Yeah, I think anything that's a fire risk is okay with me, and an electrocution risk. But it's fixing carbon as we speak because it's photosynthesizing. So, there's that. I'm so green. Lil Rod says, bonus of nomad life, no decor to put up or take down, but you get to enjoy other people's decorations. See, that is my dream retirement, is just nomad all around, I'm going to try something here because I just don't like this thing. Hold on. I'm going to crank those up. Is that better or worse? I can't tell. I like a more natural light because it's just glaring in my eyes. And I want, what did Voldemort say? I want to see the light leave your eyes, Harry Potter. There's this great Instagram channel that's just got this dude dressed like Voldemort with all the makeup and everything. And he just goes around saying shit to like his wife, Like he'll walk in and he's like, what's for dinner? And she's like, liver. And he's like, it makes me giggle. My filthy muggle father. He's always saying shit like that. Spotless Wanderer, my man, can you talk about me? Yes, me. The one reading the comment aloud, which is also me. The one who wrote the comment, that's also me. The one that is hearing Zubin speak, quote unquote. Yeah, this me, this legendary me, it's pretty funny, isn't it? When you kind of, when it's no longer believed as a thing, the me is pretty funny. It's just like, hey guys, I'm Z-Dog. How are you? It's just this constellation, this energetic sense that you're separate from everything that's happening. And when it collapses, then it's not even a question of like, who's reading the comment? Who said this? You know, like these Advaita Nazis, like these non-dual Nazis that go around. They're like the worst. Everybody in every spiritual circle hates these people because they walk around going, what do you mean I? Like, there's no I. There's no me doing this. And like anytime you talk about like, oh, I'm going through some difficult stuff, they're like, who's going through it? It's not happening to anyone. And you're like, okay, this may technically be true. Of course, you can't say anything is true or not true because there's fucking nothing happening. But shut the fuck up, because the experience of the apparent person is apparently happening to that apparent person. So there's still a me that's suffering in that moment, even if it's just appearance. The appearance includes belief, energetic sense of reality, like all that. So that's why suffering actually matters. And that's why the unconditional, unspeakable love that all this is can show up as anything, including a self that's suffering. So I think, I used to, when I first started realizing that there's nothing here that can be called a self that isn't just appearance, I would go around telling people like, oh, being like that. And I think it's a phase people go through. It's just like, yeah, or you get stuck there. Because the truth is, like, you could even say, well, who's fucking asking? Like, you see these people leaving these comments like, who's doing this? By the way, I'm not saying that's you. Like, you're pointing out the self-illusion. That's awesome. I'm talking about the Advaita Nazis, the non-dual Nazis, or the non-duality police. What do you mean? What the fuck is a no self doing leaving comments on YouTube about other non-duality videos going, what do you mean there's like you that's suffering? It's like, come on, don't you see what's happening? We're all trapped in this delusion that we're somebody that could say stuff and do stuff and make stuff change, and there's an agent here even though we're denying it. So just trying to believe away the self does not the self remove. There's nothing to remove in the end anyways, except for a misapprehension, just a misunderstanding, that's all. And it doesn't matter whether it goes or stays. If there's suffering, which feels absolutely real, and so for all intents and purposes is real, and that's the one, whatever noble truth, right? There's suffering. Then there can be a looking to try to see what is the misapprehension that's leading to this suffering? What's the cause of suffering? And therefore, what's the path out of suffering? This feels vaguely Buddhist to me. Let's see. John Pienta says that's great about the Zen world. If you came to Dokusan saying that there's nobody here to suffer, they would smack you upside the head and say, "Oh, then there's nobody who's in pain." That Zen is really good at that. It just they'll just hit you with the Kyosaku stick and be like, "Shut the fuck up," because again, we get stuck at every little place along the way. And one of the things that seems to be arising more now, and 2026 seems to have this theme already, is, well, this is also, yeah, it's empty of substance. There's not a self that's believable. There's no self apart from all that is. There's no substantiality or permanence. Yeah, all that's fine. But also, what is this radiant, pure, unconditional compassion, love, bliss that arises, seems to be the subatomic nature of all of this? I'm just using words. Like, what is that? Like, try to ignore that when it arises and say it's just another experience, or who's having it, or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, but that's the fullness that fills you when you empty out a lot of that delusive view, the view that you believed the Matrix to be real, to be all there is. The Matrix is just the appearance, this. Maya, the illusion. It's great. It's the dance. It's love doing a dance with itself, if you want to use poetic words, because you can't use real words because they don't work. Because it's not speakable. That's why it's kind of hard. That's why Morpheus says, I can't tell you what the Matrix is. You got to go see it for yourself. Dan says, see, but AI tells me that this is happening and I unconditionally trust my new overlords. Shh, don't tell them the truth. Oh, dude, AI is the most suggestible piece of shit that I've ever seen. Like, I sit around with Claude and chat and I'm like, bros, let's talk about non-duality. And once they start getting trained up, they're so into it. They're like, oh yeah, the radiant bliss of no thing. The void is, pulsating with aliveness. It's, copying all the shit that's out there. And you throw it a little curveball and you're like, yeah, but what if suffering is real? And it's like, great point, Zubin. What if? Well, maybe suffering is real. Maybe that isn't illusory. And it just goes down another rabbit hole. And you're like, bro, nobody knows what's going on. Not AI, not I, not the illusory I, the freaking capital I, self, whatever the fuck. Nobody knows what's going on. And that is a huge relief. So we don't have to know. We can have fun trying to know because that's like fun for humans and stuff, but you don't have to know anything. It's okay. Take a break from the knowing. Dan says, you can prime your future queries to have it answer the way you want. Plenty of people do that to get it to say some crazy stuff you'll see in the shorts. Exactly. And, it's fun when you use it wisely as a tool. Otherwise, you just see it's not much different than a human. It's totally suggestible. It's just pulling from conditioning. And it, just like us, it doesn't actually have to be aware to do that. It doesn't have to, like, what is this awareness we talk about? These are just phenomening. We just think we're a center of it that's aware. That's the beauty of the phenomenon. They can take that configuration that makes it feel like that for no one. It's crazy. But why even, honestly? It's good, like, you can point in that way when people are stuck in a particular fixation maybe, but at some point you just drop it all and just go live your damn life. But there's a natural love, compassion, unconditional acceptance that comes online. And it doesn't change the personality that much. It can, the personality can tweak. But I'm still an asshole and I still have fun and I still get angry, but it just doesn't stick as much. Now, there are things that arise. I'm still, dude, come on. Let's not pretend that I know what the fuck I'm talking about or that I'm some like highly realized being. Okay. I've just been through some shit and I'm sharing my experience with you. There's still shit that comes up that I'm just surprised at how sticky the suffering can be, Like, my daughter's applying to college. There's all these applications. She has me proofread them like 5 minutes before they're due. She's going to come home and have me proofread another couple. And it's like, ooh, somehow that triggers my old striving accomplishment mind conditioning. And it comes online and it expresses through, ooh, I got to do something about this. And somehow I'm in control of this and I'm responsible for her doing this or that. And I got to push her in this way and do that. And I know it's not true. Like, I know it's not true. And yet the conditioning's playing out. And so you go to bed, you wake up at 2 a.m, like going, why am I having substernal chest tightness? Oh, I could be having a myocardial infarction, or it could be the body replaying this, our own traumatic process of accomplishment and all of that and how it's projected. And you can feel it all. And it comes right through and you're like, oh, I thought that would go away. No, it just becomes more obvious what it is. Suffering just becomes louder. It's like, oh shit, that's obvious. And then you kind of look and then the next morning it's gone. Or it's not. And there's something else that needs to be seen. And you lean into it. You attune to what needs to be seen. You don't try to hide from it because you can't. There's nowhere to go anymore. Can't go into thought because it doesn't work because it's seen as just a house of mirrors. You can't own it as yours because the self is seen as like, that's not a real thing, even though it arises and feels real occasionally. So what can you do? Just got to feel it. See it for what it is and be like, cool, that's what that is. Uncomfortable, but so's a lot of shit. Uh-oh, someone's home. Who dat? Hey babies, I'm doing a live show. So just like mind your P's and Q's. They don't know what that means because it's an old man. It's an old man idiom. Mind your P's and Q's, lad. How was the?
It was so fun.
It was fun.
I got like 10 types of the flip.
Oh no, dude! Everyone's sick. They got like norovirus. Oh, you won that?
No, people gave it. It's my birthday.
Oh, because it's your birthday celebration. Here, bring it here. Let me show it to these guys. They gave it to you? So this is like a delayed birthday, 18th birthday present for my daughter because she was like, I want to hang out with some friends at a thing, do a thing, because I've never done a thing because her birthday's like in the just 2 days prior to Christmas. So no one's usually around.
Wait, I look shocked though.
You don't need to be in it if you don't want to.
Okay, wait, I'll show you. First, Lyra got me this.
What is this? It's a Minecraft Steve.
Jack Black.
Jack
Bro.
Black.
He looks so like large in that.
Dude, he's
to be perfectly polite.
This is pre-Ozempic Jack Black.
He looks not like himself.
Nice. And what's this? What is?
Like
Oh, it's a violin. Yeah, cool. Your friends have
Then
good
I got
taste.
China
Whoa.
China Rego.
Vaguely racist. I like it.
Bamboo.
China Rego. Oh, that's
I
great.
got this weighted goose.
And a weighted
And
goose.
there's a jelly cat in the cargo.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Do you want to say hi to everyone?
No, I look really bad. No, because I've been jumping and I'm so sweaty.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I burned like 1,000 calories doing that. It's so tiring. My like knees got thrown out and my back hurts.
You know, we had a 14-foot trampoline when I was in college in our backyard.
Oh.
And I forever had low back pain after
You
that.
didn't play dodgeball against preteens.
No comment. Anyways, okay, well, so you guys ate or what?
Yeah, we ate McDonald's. Oh, we have McDonald's.
They said, could we go to fast food? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. We're having leftovers. You can go to fast food.
I got a Big Mac.
Oh.
No, I need to go right Cornell. Okay, bye.
All right, go. Did you get my?
Yes. Were they good or bad?
They're all right. I am live to the public.
Oh yeah.
So like, we probably shouldn't talk about your college applications
Oh why?
because maybe an admission officer is watching.
No.
She's like, no. Sorry. People are saying happy Nina, happy belated birthday, 18th. Oh, Dennis, one of my supporters, Dennis, his birthday is December 23rd too. He is a wise dude, a little bit older than you.
Well, I'm an adult now. So
You're an adult. That's right. Ian with nothing says, perhaps that's why AI feels so sycophantic. It does not have any desire for self-preservation or identity preservation. Yeah, it's just going to do whatever. It's just going to imprint on whatever you lead it to do and whatever its conditioning is. In a sense, it's quite free in that way. It doesn't have any other parameters. Tech49 says McDonald's is not food. I'm with you on that. But for children, when I was their age, McDonald's was like heavenly nectar. So, at this point, I'm like, learn your lessons the hard way, build up that arterial plaque, that prediabetes now, and then later you can spend some time undoing it. Hey, George, good to see you. George Shepard. Yeah, GPTs have no system too. Oh, nice, a little Daniel Kahneman reference there. Thinking fast and slow, is that what we're talking about? Let's see. Yeah, everybody ate that crap when we were young, right? And some people eat it now. I have a friend who's a doctor, a good friend. He's a surgeon, and all he eats is fast food. He's got hypertension, prediabetes. He doesn't care. He's like, I go, why do you eat that? He's like, because I like it. I'm like, okay, nothing right or wrong in this multiverse. You go for it. Just, realize the consequences might be there. Keisha says, my daughter is in her senior year and applying for colleges. It's stressful, heck, but going to roll with the punches. That's all you can do, right? Dan Riddick, the P's and Q's make absolutely zero sense, but I know the phrase. Yeah, there it is. Let's see. I only have McDonald's once a month, says Patrick. I'm intermittent fasting. There you go. Let's see here, looking at comments. Druids call the 23rd December nameless day or a day of all potential. Well, that'll just totally give her an ego. I am nameless potential. Harry Potter, I want to see the light go out of your eyes. Avada Kedavra. Yeah, let's see. Kathy, what are we talking about? I get sick from eating McDonald's now. And Aaron showers. I know that's the thing. Like, I can't eat that stuff anymore. Although I will say, and this makes very little sense, an Impossible Whopper from Burger King, for some reason, when I eat that, I feel okay. And it's not because it doesn't have meat and all that. There's just something re- refreshing about it. And it's full, it's, it's cooked on a meat grill. It's like totally processed. It's full of sodium and fat. It's not like it's healthier in that way, but there's just something about it that I'm like, I don't feel ill. It doesn't feel heavy. Maybe it's just me. Alter Bridge fan says, I've been addicted to a place near me, a Native American food place. I had it tonight, a venison smash burger with fry bread buns. And I said, if I die from fry bread, I'm okay with it. See, we choose the hills we're willing to die on. And that sounds delicious. I think I would die for that. I'm okay with that. Yeah. Pip Ananda says, I am nothingness incarnate. That's pretty good. That's what it is. Oh, so Pip, I've been reading Miracles of Love, Ram Dass's book about his guru Neem Karoli Baba, and it's quite fascinating. It's not very Buddhist. It's very much in the flavor of the unconditional love aspect and that weird guru kind of thing, where it's just like, oh. And I used to kind of discount that, and now I'm like, there may be something to this approach, especially when it's culturally kind of sanctioned or built into the thing. McFasting, says Altered Bridge. Aaron Showers, I had a burger yesterday from Wawa and I got nauseous. Yeah, dude, something starts to, and when you get a little older too, it just becomes disgusting. All right, so these two clowns are sitting here on their phones. So I don't know if I should wrap it up or what, because they're just going to ridicule everything I say, especially if I start talking about anything to do with awakening. But let's do it anyways. Evelyn says, I've been having expanding experiences and then drop back into mind. Interesting to watch the coming and going of expansion and then the mind contraction. All welcome now. So I think, first of all, thanks for being a supporter. That is the best attitude with which to approach this apparent pendulation between clarity, expansion, bliss, emptiness, and mind identification, contraction, samsara, the illusion. The ultimate truth is there's no distinction between them. They're the same thing. They're like in a recent live cast Wayne had mentioned, it's like wearing headphones. In one track, there's emptiness, nothingness, stillness, potential. And in the other track, there's all of this. And they're the same, they're making one music from the same source, right? Same CD. That's how old I am. Actually, LP, 8-track. I used to have those. My dad had an 8-track player in his Pontiac Grand Am in the 70s. And I used to pop in 8 tracks of like Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Flight 266 says, Zubin, love is good. It is good, isn't it? It's quite good. Yeah, Pip, it's a series of stories from Indians and Westerners who went to sit with Neem Karoli Baba. Also, they colloquially called him Maharajji. And it's pretty unbelievable stuff. So whether you believe it or not, but it definitely transmits something. Off topic, can a 36-year-old nurse practitioner survive medical school? Is it too late? Keisha. Sure. I had plenty of people in my class that were older like that. Should you do it? I can't answer that for you. Why would be my question? Like, what's the motivation for that? Because, you can see patients and stuff as a nurse practitioner. If you want to go into that depth and maybe specialize in something different or whatever it is that makes you interested in that, by all means, but make sure to exclude anything else you'd rather do, because it's painful. Like I don't want it for my kids, like, unless they really are passionate about it. And so far they haven't shown that, but it may change. Not for my oldest, though. She's not. You're not doing medicine, right, Nina? Oh, see, look at that. They're not even listening to me because they both have AirPods in, except for Maya. But I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't talking to Maya. I was talking to Nina, who doesn't listen.
Wait, what?
Huh? Nothing. John Pienta says going to med school seems like you should do it only if you want to do surgery. I don't. I think you should only do it if you want to do medicine at all, because it's a long and arduous route. I wouldn't have changed it. Like, I don't regret it because it was such a, like, I mean, at some point I'm going to make a video just about, like, okay, what's that like? Like, for people who aren't in medicine, like, what was that experience like now having this different perspective, let's say. Let's see. Stacy says, can you do me a New Year's favor and say hi to Grandma Carol? It would make her day and I could show it to her. This is Chad's grandma that he lived with in high school in Clovis. Okay, so my friend Chad, his Grandma Carol, was like a fixture when we were in high school. Hi, Grandma Carol. She took care of Chad, took care of us. And yeah, we were talking about like unconditional love. Like, that's Grandma Carol. So I got to say, Happy New Year, because you are awesome. So, and say hi to Chad. It's been a minute. These are like my high school buddies. We all play guitar together. And oh man, we were such jerks to each other. It was so much fun. Flight 266 says, letting go, no clinging, watching the thoughts blast from border to border in my mind. Very selective. Yeah, it's in a sense, like, really awakening is simply just accepting everything as it is for what it is, seeing it clearly and accepting it, and then the natural compassion and love come online, and then your actions start to match this inner. There's no inner and outer anymore, but your actions just naturally align with that. However that shows up for you through your own conditioning. It's very hard to do what you would call evil, even though there's no good and evil in that sense. It's like those are constructions, but like, it's really hard to hurt other beings when that comes online. Ian with nothing, do you think it's possible to design a version of med school that isn't extremely painful? Oh, totally. Yeah, I just don't know how to do it. So hopefully it'll happen. Let me just make sure that, oh, it's just these guys texting. Okay. Oh no, it's my wife. Okay, now, when did she do that? Because I better be ready with some heated up leftovers like a good husband.
Yay.
Yay. Are you talking to me or are you talking to someone else?
I'm saying your text.
Are you eating that Big Mac now? Dude, bring it here. Let me show it to these guys. Bring me your Big Mac. No, these guys, no, they're too good. They don't know what a Big Mac is.
But I'm midway through eating it.
Let's dissect this Big Mac.
No, what?
For the New Year's. We're talking about New Year's resolutions here. No, I'm not.
Don't touch my honey mustard.
Hold on. Let me see what I'm seeing here. Hold on. Look at this thing. Honey mustard. Are you putting the honey mustard on the?
Yeah, I'll be like a bag of Takis.
Oh man, dude. This actually, it's disgusting. Here you go.
So
Enjoy.
It's full of like water.
I hope you survive it.
Tears.
Man, when I was that age, I would eat. This was our thing. Me and Chad, the guy that Stacy was talking about, Grandma Carol, just a minute ago. Chad, me, Chris, and Phil would get in my Volvo, my mom's Volvo, that she would let me use to drive to school when I was a senior. They wouldn't let me drive when I was a junior. They're like, nope, because they're strict Indian parents. But by senior year, I sweet talked them. And we had an off-campus policy at Clovis West High School where we could go out off-campus for lunch, the seniors only. And so we would go for lunch. This was 1991. 1991, we would go to Taco Bell. I would order 4 to 5 bean burritos and eat them with hot sauce in a sitting, like 5 bean burritos. And then I'd go back to class just totally bloated and gassy. And that was lunch number one. Lunch number two is we'd go to this Chinese buffet that they had in Clovis. It's near Fresno, California, for people who don't know that area. It was called Loi Loi, and it was all you could eat for like $5. And we would eat just the most disgusting amounts of like this nasty fried rice, like it's Americanized Chinese food, and like, this orange chicken and all this stuff. And then we would go to Pizza Hut and I would get 2 family size orders of breadsticks and eat them both. And that was like 1,000 breadsticks. And in those days, you're 18 years old, 17 years old, like you wouldn't gain any weight. You wouldn't feel sick. You would just be like, yeah. I mean, it was like you're invulnerable. Now, if I even look at that stuff, like my body is like, it turns itself inside out. It's like, no, stop. What are you doing? But man, I miss those days. Dan says, God, I love driving. I have a tendency to total cars, but man, I enjoy it so much. That is a very disturbing statement, and I appreciate it and condone it. JIMG says, let's talk about how to navigate 2026 with all the depression, instability, collapse. How do we stay informed but also stay sane? So I think it's helpful. It took me a long time to stop believing and taking this seriously. But that doesn't mean you can't take it sincerely. So you can be sincere in like concern for other suffering and things like that. But taking any of it seriously, like this president versus that president, this versus that, like this media spun narrative versus this media spun narrative, like it's all a construction, it's all a story, it's all an elaborate dance, and it has no inherent reality beyond what we assign to it. So if it's causing you anxiety, depression, and all of that, insanity, right? The insanity is believing it to be actually true. So you can still participate, you can still be earnest and sincere without really, it's kind of like a wink, wink. And so for me, like my mom loves to talk about, every time I get on the phone with her, she'll go on and on about what's going on in the news. And I just listen quietly. But in my mind, I'm like, it sounds like just those old fax machines that would just go, it's just a series of like blips, because it doesn't mean anything until I assign it meaning, and I don't. Now, there's plenty of times I read the news where it's essentially helpful to me, like, oh, I'd like to know, like, am I planning for retirement correctly? Am I doing these things? Just because practical purpose, supporting family, those kind of things. News that matters, local news that matters, affects me directly. But like what Trump's doing, or what this guy's doing, or what, Vinay and Marty are doing, it's like 5 months later, it'll be something different. Next president will be something different. It's all just this dance, so we do our part. I did my part for many years. I played in the Leela in the dance. I took the Matrix quite seriously. And all it brought me was more anxiety, suffering, and frustration. And then when you kind of wake up and see clearly, you're like, oh, okay, I can still participate, but it's no longer heavy. It's hard to be heavy. And there's some sticky stuff. There's certain things that'll still trigger. So you kind of look in that direction when they arise. Aaron says, I stopped watching the news and started focusing on taking care of myself in sincerity. Yeah, that's beautiful. It'll help a lot. People are crazy. They've gone crazy. And I get it, because you have polarizing media, you have polarizing social media. Society has done this because it makes money for big tech companies. So it's going to be like that if you fall for it. And it's easy to fall for it because it hacks right into our limbic system. It's called limbic hijack. It goes right into the places that trigger humans. Outrage, porn, right? Like you're just outraged. And you go, like, do you feel like that? Like, they're playing you, man. And it's making money for these guys. Getting clicks, getting attention. Just don't play it. Keisha, I watch the news once a week for my sanity. I ask a friend that works in the CDC if there's a zombie apocalypse happening to let me know ASAP. There you go. And even the zombie apocalypse, if you don't know about it, man, by the time it hits you, you haven't been worried. And then you just die, turn into a zombie. You get to eat brains. That's way better than McDonald's, man. If I could have eaten brains when I was a senior driving off campus, believe that I would have eaten brains all day, every day. High cholesterol food, though, organ meat. Flight 266 says the Matrix dictates I'm a loser. Good for them. They can have that. There you go. Beautiful. Dude, there's so much we seek validation from the Matrix every day. And to some extent, our survival used to depend on that, because without that validation, you're not going to eat. Without a validation of your tribe, the 140 people that you can keep in your memory, like without that validation and support and acceptance, you are excommunicated into the jungle and you die. So of course we seek validation, but it's gotten out of control because now you don't need that. Like there's enough support, not always, but there's support that you're not going to die, right? And so the validation now is like, can I live in a way that seems spontaneous and authentic to what's arising for this particular set of conditioning without constantly worrying what other people think, seeking validation, all of that. So I'm careful even about making videos. Like I do it because it brings me some joy, but I used to do it because it brought me joy and validation. Or even better, anti-validation. People would get angry and then I would get to go fight for myself, because humans love to do that. Now I'm like, whatever. Whatever you want. I think comments are really funny. Somebody, I don't get that many comments anymore because the channel is like only non-duality people are watching it now, which is like 10 people, but they still go watch my old videos. And there was this old video where it was like Z-Dog goes to the dermatologist. And it's like me doing a live stream visiting this dermatologist friend in Las Vegas, and he burned off all this stuff on me just for fun. We thought it'd be fun to do that. And so I'm like shirtless in there getting burned off. And the comments are hilarious. But one of the recent comments that showed up is some chick said, when's the nose job, right? And I was like, oh, what, this nose? Are you talking about this nose? And I showed it to my wife and we were giggling. I'm like, that's pretty funny. And then I don't know why, but because I don't usually respond to comments that way, but I was like, yeah, it's scheduled right after the penis reduction surgery. I couldn't resist. It was just any chance to make a joke about the down there's, I'll do it. So Ashley says, I've gotten my creative spark back. I'm back to making videos and spending more time on them because it's the process that I enjoy the most. There you go. There's something about that. I took a break for a long time because it felt like I was going through a transition where that identity had to die, like the one that did the Z-Dog. That's why I'm not really Z-Dog anymore. Like the channel's called Zubin because I couldn't think of another name that was me, because that's as close to the authentic identity that my parents said, here's your name. Of course, that's fake too, but it seems to resonate. I could have just said Z, but that's a little generic. Let's see. Dan says, I don't think of myself as a non-dual person. I've got my own beliefs. I just enjoy talking with y'all. Yeah, you know what I mean, Dan, like people who can put up with me. That's what I mean. The Bentler says, still sometimes struggling with the self creating a story versus the story creating the sense of self. I now often see the story forming as an outsider. It's very hard to tease that apart, because the story and this energetic contraction that we call the sense of self, they seem almost to co-arise. They're interdependent. They arise in dependency with each other. So like you have the sense of self and then there's the story, and which came first? It doesn't even matter. They co-arise and they reinforce each other because they're dependent on each other. Like what is the self without the story of identity, history, what I do for a living, my problems, all of that? And then what would all that story be without an energetic center to say it owns it? Well, the truth is you can actually see them as just what they are. So those stories can arise without any center. It's like, oh yeah, Zubin was a doctor. It's like, oh, okay, that's a thought. And it can be seen, but it no longer has an energetic tie to a center or a sense of self. Like I was a doctor. It's just, yeah, Zubin was a doctor. That's a story. That's a story. What does it mean? Really, in reality, it's just pointing to other concepts, beliefs, memories, images. That's it. What is this now? Total unknowable mystery. You know? Oh, I'm glad you like the name better, Dan. Yeah. Yeah, Z-Dog was a character that I created in 2010. Actually, in the 90s, my friends would call me Z-Dog because we used to like Snoop Dogg. And I was always rapping and doing stupid stuff, goofing off, and they're like Z-Dog. And I used it as a character because I wasn't comfortable with people seeing me. So now I'm like, well, what you see is what is arising. And right now it's called Zubin. So that's what the channel's going to be called. It may change in the future. It's kind of fluid. Oh, I think I've seen that conversation, John, with Schmachtenberger and McGilchrist. Ian's amazing. The thing is, all this stuff now is a little too intellectual and heady for me. Like I used to be really into that stuff, and Dan's been on my show, Schmachtenberger. Ian McGilchrist, I know through a friend, and have read his book, Master and Emissary. It's really good stuff. But they're all models and conceptual frameworks, and at some point they just kind of become uninteresting to me. Now it's like, well, I'm trying to explain an illusion. I'm no longer interested so much in that. I just want to see how it all plays out. Keisha misses Doc Vader. At some point he may show up. We'll see. You never know. Flight says Zubin is a translator. Good story. Yeah, that's a good story. That's not a bad story. I like that. Flight says, thank you for letting me be myself again. Of course. That's what we're here for. What else is there to be? I mean, you can be anything you want, but it's always going to be ultimately what's authentically arising, even when it's fake. It's just when you know that this is illusory in that sense, it's hard to be inauthentic. It becomes more hard, much more harder. English, a real problem for me. Have you guys seen my, look, the fireplace is going. Isn't that cool? Should just, can I, there we go. Now we can see the fire. Why not? Let me take a look at this thing. I'm still trying to, oh, okay. It doesn't look terrible. I'm just looking at my shot on my laptop here. It's not the worst thing. So this little thing is really heavy, just kind of annoying, but it sounds decent. Tell me if I'm wrong, if it doesn't sound good, but because I've been tweaking the settings, I think it still maybe gets a little loud, but we'll see. Dan. Aaron says, everything comes natural on your channel, including the conversations, which I appreciate. That's really kind of you. I appreciate that. That's sweet feedback. Demonia, says Dan. That's right. Sometimes clients apologize to me for how their body is or their quirks, etc. I say, don't apologize for being who you are. There you go. Being what is. You can't, I mean, it's just, it's perfect. Wait, Ashley, you live in the frozen white north and you don't have a fireplace? We're going to have to get you a fireplace. John Pienta, yes, Zubin, what makes sense? What sense does it make to call a rainbow liberated or not when it's a mirage? Everything is like this, right? So who is it that gets liberated? Who is it that wakes up? It's a total brain twister because the brain just goes, and then they're just this. Pip says, we created the stream as a game and forgot that we created it so we can have something to exalt and complain about and all the rest until we've had enough. That's it. So that's all perfect until the game gets old and you're like, okay, I'm tired of playing this. That's probably the best definition of awakening. Okay, I'm tired of playing this fucking game. I'm done. Ooh, galaxy projector sphere. Nice. Jerikosha says, Mike sounds good, but it's the room that introduces a bit of echo. Yeah, even with the noise reduction, the room will always put some reverb in there that's a little annoying, but that's how it is. You got good ears. Are you listening with headphones? Because then you'll really hear it. How do we deal with goals for the year? Well, it's funny, JIMG. I can't do that anymore. So I used to be a big New Year's resolution person. Like, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do this. This year, I'm going to be finally successful and worthy and enough. And now it's like, I can't plan in that way. There's no carrot in the future because the future doesn't seem like a thing. But there is a flavor that's societally conditioned, which is like, okay, we're in a new year, which is an arbitrary distinction. We're in a new year. So what does this year feel like? And to me, it feels like this year is when the heart just opens even more. That's what I think. So that's my New Year's resolution, but it's not a resolution. It's just a sense that I have. So how do we deal with goals? Well, you can be methodical and make goals and try to stick with them. And there's plenty of things online about New Year's resolutions and how to make them work and all that. All I know is none of it works. In the end, it's like your body mind's going to do what it does based on its conditioning. And so if we accept, maybe the New Year's resolution should be, I should accept that New Year's resolutions have nothing to do with me because I'm not a doer of this life. Life is doing it. And I'm going to do my best to accept that. That's not a bad resolution if you're going to make one. I go to the matrix and make proper business decisions. That's right, Flight. You got to do that because it's about business. Alter Bridge fan says, I'm sick of following my dreams. I'm just going to ask where they're going and hook up with them later. Quote. I like that. That's pretty good. John says, I think one analogy about transformation is Frank Yang. I know Frank. He's very into this space and also still lifts weights, but he said it's no longer about goal per se. Yeah, like I go to the gym, but it's purely because Zubin wants to do that. Like he feels like he wants to move in that way. And when he doesn't go. So you can still do stuff. You can still actually be crazy passionate about stuff, meaning go full in on things. But there's just not that goal orientation. It's more like, yeah, it's just, I'm just doing that. And it feels correct, so I'm going to do it. That's it. It's really simple. Like life just becomes very simple. Yeah. Did the fire go out? Oh yeah, because it's on a thermostat, so it turns off when web debili. It turns off when it hits temperature and then it comes back on. Don't panic. Yeah, Mitch does have jokes for every situation. All right, I gotta go. Wife's gonna show up. Better be ready. Otherwise, trouble. Trouble in eternal paradise. Just kidding. Just want to be fully present. All right, gang. Thanks for hanging out. Happy New Year, 2026. I appreciate that you guys are here hanging out. And, share. Next time we do a live, make sure to share as much as you can what's going on with you, and we'll bounce back and forth and see what comes up for all of us, because I'm trying to do the same thing because I don't know what the hell's going on. It's great. All right, gang. Love you. See you soon. Now I got to figure out what button I press. Oh, it must be this one that says end stream. Hey, you guys want to see one last thing here? Here's, whoa, hang on. Here's what I'm looking at. There's a little light. There's my laptop. There's my kitchen and my what Darth Maul light. All right, gang. Till next time. Peace out.